Hey, there we go.
Hello.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are people doing?
Good afternoon.
Hey, there we go. All right.
Okay.
Hi, Jared. Hi.
Keep going.
I'm
Sorry, I
glad
have
it
to-
worked.
Yeah, I had to I had to re-log in with my Gmail. Sorry, I
It's
was in
okay.
my company one.
It's all right.
Technology.
Yeah,
Good stuff. How are you doing today, Jim?
good. It's pretty good. Yeah, good weather and yeah, it's a nice day.
It
Mm.
is
Yeah,
a fantastic day. I was just running out to the store for like 15 minutes earlier, and it's amazing how much just a couple minutes outside on a day like today really changes.
Mhm. It's getting warmer.
It is. I don't know how I feel about that yet, but Zia, how are you doing?
I'm great. Thank you very much. I am really just enjoying today. The weather is quite lovely.
All right. Well, as people trickle in, let me quickly thank everyone for joining this afternoon. I appreciate you taking the time and making the time to join us for another one of our chat webinar series. Today, our guest is Mr. Jun Koremura. Thank you so much for joining us. Jun is the regional director, I believe it is. Yeah, regional director for customer success in Japan and APAC for CircleCI. And again, thank you so much for your time. I'm sure we'll have a lot of interesting things to get into today. And some of you may remember from the past webinar, Zia, our company representative from the Caribbean, is joining us again. As
Hello.
always, thank you for your time. And of course, Reina will be handling things on the chat. So
Hi.
if any of you have questions, please feel free to ask in English or Japanese at any time. And she'll also be giving you a little bit of the Japanese play-by-play of the important points, or maybe some important or difficult phrases that will come up as we go along. So, having quickly touched on all of the members of our panel, again, thank you all so much for joining. Let's dive into things. So our first topic, I actually want to start pretty basic for today, but Jun, if you don't mind, let me quickly ask, could you just tell us a little bit about your past and your current career? What's going on?
Okay. First of all, thank you for inviting me. This is such a great opportunity for me. Again, for the folks who listen to this podcast, my name is Jun Koremura. Nice to meet you. And I'm actually currently I'm working for the company called CircleCI. It's like a kind of developer services company based in San Francisco, the headquarters. And then I'm working in the Tokyo office. But a little bit talks about my past. I'm originally from the Okinawa. I believe everybody knows Okinawa is a popular place, and originally from there. And actually, after that, I grew up in Okinawa. I went to the school in Texas. Actually, I graduate school in Texas. Yeah, for to pass the Master of Science in the.
Out of curiosity, what part of Texas were you in?
It's a Denton called near the Dallas. Actually, 1 hour. Yeah, it's like a north part.
Interesting.
Yeah, it's like Texas is 2 times bigger than Japan, so it's
Yeah.
yeah, but the north part of it, yeah. So after finishing the after getting the master degree, I started working as a IT company in Japan. Yeah, because of the 9/11, I kind of gave up on getting a job in there because of the visa number of the issue in the visa is I think they cut in half back then. So I came back to Japan and started working for the company. I mean, IT company. And then, since then I'm working for the, 6 IT company, and then it's all the IT company. And currently I'm doing that, and including the Microsoft and the Dropbox. And now I've been as a director of customer success in CircleCI for a year. Yeah. And then now, I am. Yeah.
Fascinating. All right. Thank you very much.
Excellent.
Actually, one question that sort of came to me as you were explaining that, you said you've worked at 6 different companies, but all basically in the same field. My question for you is, for you personally, what makes you feel it's time to move on, time to go somewhere new? That
Good
trigger.
question.
Yeah. Same field. I mean, like same field, like IT. but maybe each company like a different role. Maybe same role. Some of the companies the same role, but like some are different role. I think two kinds that that when I decided to move, so definitely like a new challenge that I'm kind of finding the new like a new technology or new services that really interest me, and then this is the time that I want to kind of touch on, like get involved in those fields, or there's some kind of field that okay, I got enough on this current
Okay.
situation. I mean, and then there's some more field that or like maybe out of the breaking for the comfort zone or something. But so that's a kind of path for the new challenge. That's a thing. It's like a new technology or new challenge or new things. That's a kind of good things.
Okay.
But the other things maybe some a little bit kind of I don't disagree with those
Okay.
current whatever the kind of fight, and then also leave. So those are two.
Okay. Interesting.
Basically.
Sticking on the idea of the good ones, taking some past examples of maybe new challenges or new tech or new services, what experience in the past made you the most excited to start doing that new thing?
Right. I guess maybe a couple of things that I had, but especially like I would say for current one, current one or current field is I'm in the current customer success field. It's a really new one. I mean, it's a relatively new field for the IT industry. So this is a pretty new, and then I really kind of excited to experience or jump into the new field, for other customer success. So yeah, and then it's a really big challenge. The challenge because like a new one, and then not really that many people knows about it, and no experience for the. But that means also good. So this is actually the challenge that I'm enjoying most. For the challenge and new. Yeah.
Very interesting. Well, that topic of the customer success field is definitely something I want to unpack in a little bit more detail as we go on. So please do keep that idea in mind. But before we get to that, I kind of want to talk about something on a more general level. As someone who has worked at a lot of global companies, what do you feel are the common traits or common characteristics of professionals who are successful in global environments?
Right. Yeah. I think, of course, like there are so many traits, but yeah, I'm not like really saying that I'm a successful person or something, but for general from my experience,
You are successful. Yeah.
I think that's a fair
try
point.
to be. But I see that many folks that we consider as successful, they really find something that they can enjoy from their work. I don't know, it's really tough. It could be like tough, situation is tough, and then technology itself is like it depends on technology or role or whatever it really depends on to me it's this is something fun or something, but those are the who is actually successful is definitely they found something that they actually enjoy themselves. Yeah, so I think finding that enjoy from some part.
Okay. So in your case, as a customer success specialist, what is it that you enjoy most about that field? What is that point for you?
Yeah, I think I would say like two, little bit more. Two things that I enjoy from the customer success. So one is a little bit I already covered a little bit in from our conversation that because it's new, really new challenge. It's like there's so many role or job that it's been a while. Like I said, sales, development, or whatever the engineer. So that's everybody knows that that what they gotta do. Of course depends on the company, but customer success is really like a new, and probably not many people knows about it, and you don't have a much opportunity to challenge in the new defined role job in your career, I guess.
Sure.
So I thought that would be interesting. And then the other one is more like I don't know, main things that kind of definition, not definition, but the main purpose of the customer success role is to, it's really simple, is to make the customer success. This really simple, easier to say, it's harder to do,
Okay.
But I thought it's fundamentally like, I've been thinking like, we've been selling this, I don't know, services, like licenses or products or whatever, any kind of the businesses, the purpose has to be make our client or whatever our customers, make them happy or make them successful in in their situation. So I thought this is a kind of fundamental. Actually, every role should be the customer success, I guess, to some extent. But I thought this is fundamentally, this is the what has to be that the job should be. That's I think that's I enjoy. Yeah.
Okay. That is fascinating. So just to back up a little bit to this idea of the people who are most successful globally are people who find something they enjoy about what they do. Do you have any suggestions for how people can try to find that something?
Right. Yeah. I guess I would say try to, whatever the job, maybe they say, or like, maybe ideal way is something you found, makes something you like, make your work is easier, right? Maybe that's easier, but it's not, the life is not that simple. Of course, I know. So I think that, the way to, find the fun from your work is, I believe I try to be a little bit kind of geek about what you do.
Can you explain that in a little more
like
detail,
geek
please?
Or really like fascinating about one thing. So it could be your customer. It's okay. Fascinating about the customer success, whatever, or the services itself. If you are working with a really, I don't know, complicated product or complicated services, try to be like a geek and really knows about it. Or, whatever, if the language or, to know, to, detail, and then that, I guess, to know more and more, and then keep learning. And then I think, I don't know, to me, maybe that would be, makes you, make the things the fun, to know more and know more. I want to know more. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Or that's, I don't know.
To be a geek about one small thing of something in your field.
That would be actually the get respect from the others and also customers internally, externally, and then that makes also to help your career, I guess, that everybody recognize. Oh, so here's something that we can ask or whatever that respect to. Or that's I don't know. I'm just thinking.
Yeah. I guess it's different from being an expert in something, though. It's more like you have emotion in it. Like when you're a geek about something, you really love something, and there's passion behind your interest. So that might be the difference between just being like a specialist versus being a geek about something. Like customer success. Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. And yes, like expert is like, it, of course, like a good way to say, but it's like a more like kind of like your work, like professionally. But something like you love is more like a geek. It's like more, that, I mean, a good way, of course. Yeah.
Of course.
Yeah, that's, I guess.
Yeah.
Maybe the way.
What do you think? Are you a geek about anything?
Me?
Yeah.
I very interesting that you ask. I'm thinking about expression. It's kind of difficult to say, but I really do enjoy language and all the different ways you can fit them together as a puzzle piece, just on its basic level. So yeah, that translates. But what's interesting to me is that you become this repository of information. So like you said, Jun, then your coworkers come to you and say, I have this little problem with this little part. Can we talk about it? So you become the go-to person, and it kind of fosters a really good relationship, right?
Right. And then, like, and then helping the others. Of course, the person help the others. That makes a good communication and then the move and the flow, and the atmosphere also for the team.
Do you think, Jun, anyone can be geek about something?
I think so. Yeah. Definitely.
How about, but it still has to have value to the company and the business, right? You can't be geek about I don't know, like stickers or stamps, and then that won't really be helpful. So it has to be within the scope.
Sorry. Sorry to interrupt. That's the that's why I say about making. That it's of course like you cannot. You can be a geek for anything that it has to be like valuable for the company, especially to become a success. Of course you can be geek for anything for your private life, but it's good to find something that you can be a really geek or passionate about one thing in your whatever your work and the profession. And then I don't say that you become the like a number one of the company or in the world. So people say like be the number one or the whatever you should be like a number one in the world that you proud of. I guess it's too much. If so, like it's too many number one in the world. I guess, but at least like you can say like okay, I love doing this from your work, and then that makes that and make the good the career, I guess.
That is fascinating.
Interesting. I guess if we can't find what we can be geek about, it might be time to look for a different environment where you can look. You can find what you can be passionate about. Excuse me.
That is a really interesting take on that. Okay. Well, speaking of passions, let's kind of go back to your recent thing and talk in a bit more detail about this concept of customer success. As you mentioned, really new field, probably not very familiar to many people. So for anyone listening, and honestly for myself as well, what is customer success?
Right. That's a good question. Just kidding. But customer success is actually the of course like name of the law, but actually there's some history behind customer success. I think maybe more than like 10 years ago, I believe that they say like a customer success, the word comes from the Salesforce company, the Salesforce, right? Everybody knows now, but back then it's 10 years ago, probably don't know. And they're the first like a software as a service company, not really kind of that become really big. And back then they have so we call it SaaS and subscription businesses. That means like a kind of annual contract. The customer can has to keep renewing. So and the SaaS and software as a service, and the SaaS is relatively it's cheaper. So it's like a switching cost. So changing to the other services, it's a little bit easier for buying the hardware product or really huge big licenses. So back then the SaaS business is like a new sales is like going up, but for subscription business, the important things is keep the customer keep using the services for each year, so that eventually the ROI, the return on investment is it goes up for the profit. So important things is keep the customer use for the new. And in order to keep customer using their services, definitely need to the company make the customer to achieve what they want to what they wanted to do to before they buy this software or services. and then they want to be like happy to using this. So make the customer to realize, okay, this is the what the reason why they buy these services, and then helping the customer help the customer to achieve the goal, or in other words, the success. That is actually not just a voluntary movement, but also make the subscription businesses going like alive, survive. That's and then customer success team is the fundamental. Ultimate goal is to make the customer success and then make the happy, so that customer is not, they don't leave these services and they keep using, and also they might buy the additional services or licenses because they are happy with what they're getting now from this company. So customer success team is, of course, depends on the company, and it depends on the services, depends on what they offer. So basically, most of the customer success team in the other IT industry, that's fundamentally we call it charm. Charm is the language. The keyword, the word that the customer is stop using the services. They leave. So prevent the charm, and also make the more usage or use, so that their deal is kind of bigger. So those are the kind of important things for the customer success.
So it's kind of like a mix between customer support, but also sales and product development.
Right. Yeah. Sales is like a pre-sales, right? Sales is after, they buy the services. So sales is, I think, pre, right? And then this is what we call the post-sales. And usually, we use, of course, customer support, same CS, but the customer support is more it has a longer history.
Sure.
And then customer success and the customer support is, of course, those two are very important for the post-sales field, but it's the two different roles. But it's similar. But what's a big difference between customer success and the customer support is, I would say, one has to be proactive and one is reactive. Yeah, I don't mean the reactive is bad way, but customer support usually customer start using the services or product, and then when they get the question or when they hit the issue, they're gonna call or send a ticket or so that customer support help. That's a more customer support is waiting, right? And but before that customer success is they has to proactively move, and because a customer sometimes I say usage of the without using. Actually, some customers actually buy the services, but they don't use. And then when it become the renewal date, and then they realize, and then if we ping that your renewal date is next month or something, but realize they don't use the services last 10 months. So of course there's no way that they can renew. Right. But so we need to, customer success team, we need to see the data that, if they are really using the product, there is consuming the services, so that if not, there's some issue that they're not using. Maybe they don't know how to use. They don't know, where the support center is, whatever. So onboarding. When they buy and then to make them on board for their services that they start using is very important. So first 2 or 3 months is really important to make them really realize the value of the services. They keep using, and then keep checking or supporting for proactively. Of course, some of the things is we need to answer the reactively way. If they get a question, but fundamentally it's has to be one is the proactively support, and the customer support is a little bit more reactive.
I have a question for you, Jun. What it sounds like is you're describing a full customer journey from start to finish. And I understand that it's sort of broken up into two. So you have pre-sale and post-sale. And this model is sort of one that's used for a product that is purchased once or twice. But now things are different because it's SaaS or because it's subscription services. I wanted to know which half of the journey does customer success focus on the most? And is there room for more activity on a different end, let's say pre-sale?
Okay. Yeah. Customer success, the focus is post-sales. I mean, of course, for most of the case, of course, not all the case, but customer success focus on the post-sales after they buy, or maybe kind of a little bit maybe transition, but after they buy the services or product that the customer success covers. But interesting is this journey is not a one way direction, one way. Because of course, those customers buy the services, they would consider for other services that you have, or adding more seats. So those are also pre-sales phase. I mean, in some extent. So definitely, those are the kind of, a little bit kind of the way, the circle. So it's a post-sales phase, but also this is actually the prospect that comes from this same existing customer. So we'll say, yeah, although post pre-sales, but kind of the circle, yeah.
Okay. So increasing the lifespan of a customer.
Right. So we call that a lifetime value, LTV. So lifetime value. So that's increasing the lifetime value of the this services or this contract will be very much for the customer success important topic that we're focusing on.
Okay. So now that I think we've got maybe a sense of some of the basics of what exactly customer success means, what are companies actually doing to pursue this? What kind of different approaches do you see? Do you think there are ones that are more or less successful? Kind of what is this market like?
Right. Actually, last year, I was doing teaching actually the customer success course. Also, I mean, not only me, but I'm one of the instructor for not our company, but there's some other kind of not side job, but and then I gotta hear the many things from the other company doing, and basically how they're doing is we'll say there's two big I would say two different types of the customer success approach. I would say this is more kind of basic way. So high touch and then low touch / or tech touch. Yeah.
Okay.
So let's say depends on the services what you sell. Okay, if you sell one license is I don't know, $5. Let's say for the per seat and 1 month, or $1 million licenses. Now, of course, approaches will be different, right? I mean, one is high touch is a little bit more kind of a face-to-face type of things, more like a consultation type, and then of the few customer that takes care by a dedicated person, and then no more really deep dive for their plan, and then also customer journey, kind of customize the services. So those are the high touch for the more expensive licenses. And there's the other one is low touch or tech touch is more a little bit less expensive licenses also. But so need to have a mass approach, right? So more of course, email or seminar through the gathering the many people.
Okay.
So yeah, depends on the company what they have the type of the license or type of the range of the license. So those are the two difference. And also same services or same company has a both high touch or tech or low touch or mid touch or so it really depends on the
Okay. So hearing this, something that it does make me wonder is, I think, as subscription services have become more prominent as a business model, I think you see a lot of companies, especially on the lower cost services and where a lot of their revenue is based on the assumption that everything renews automatically and people will forget to cancel and just keep paying things without thinking about it. But this seems very counter to the customer success mindset, because customer success seems very connected to sort of being very directly engaged with the customer and keeping them as active as possible.
Right.
Do you think this sort of mismatch ever leads to any conflict between maybe customer success people and sales and management who just want to turn over easy profits quickly?
Right. Yeah. Say conflict is, of course, so many conflicts in the company. That's actually a challenge, because customer success is still new. I mean, in the I guess I hear the many company having the challenge for internally, for understanding the which sales and customer success and the product, and then those are the and so customer success has to be orchestrate for the because more like a middle in center of those cycle, because to definitely the customer success work with the sales also for post sales, and also keep customer using, and also upselling. Those are there should be a really good business partner, and also customer success is really the face of the company, so that good customer feedback or improvement of the service of the product should the customer success get from the customer directly, and then connect with the product team. So that's that's important. So it has to be the circle. So customer success more has to be orchestrated, so that the company has to, I think that the top level has to understand those are the importance. Yeah. And also what you said, sorry, more and then also a little bit back to your question.
Sure.
And there's some word called product-led growth, PLG. So there's some services, and then the license is really kind of low cost, and then renewal is old, so like I'm a company, and my previous company, Dropbox, is kind of some part is for personal use, and then those are the product. The product itself, no person is directly to sell, but they find on the web, and then they just upgrade the license from the and the product UI. So this is a product-led growth, and then kind of less human touch. Those are
Interesting.
So anyway,
Okay. So going back to that idea of especially internal challenges within companies, what sort of strategies have you found are successful in convincing companies to invest more in customer success?
Right. Yeah. I would say, I think, I guess, definitely the, company has to realize that, like I said, post sales and pre sales, and then with existing the customer success, help or customer success, what's difference to the actually those number. So yeah, like a churn rate, I mean, and also kind of net revenue, I mean, for the increase of the
so data is powerful, basically.
Yeah, data is actually the power, and without data, it's actually very different. I mean, difficult for company to invest, I believe. Yeah, although we can, although it's really easy to say, and then of course, everybody thinks make the customer success and the customer happy is most important. But for us, from the company perspective, they need to have some kind of good number or good reason to invest. So definitely we, or like from the customer success team, I mean, in general, has to make some effort to show that also the number.
Okay.
Yeah, that's I guess, so that internally, like, they both think that, okay, this is the important. And then to say, like, getting cost of the, acquisition of the customer for the new customer. So having, from 0 to 1 and 1 to 10 is different. I mean, finding a new customer from the 0 or for the cost is really higher than, making more profit than from the existing customer. Of course, like we have like a relationship, so that there should be like if some company that they don't dig into those numbers for the post sales for the, then maybe it should be, yeah.
Okay, very interesting. Before we move on from the topic of customer success, Dia, Reina, any other questions or comments from you guys?
Not so far. It's been thoroughly explained. I'm enjoying learning
Right.
so much.
I would certainly second that.
Have you ever experienced or seen, because you were saying that you were able to kind of hear about the cases of other companies, and it's such an evolving field that companies are doing it in different ways. They're taking different approaches. And you talked about high touch, low touch, tech touch, but has there been any like cases where you were really surprised about the innovative way a certain company tried to do something with customer success?
Right. I think, yeah. I would say, to me, there's some of course, like I'm working with the IT, but relationship between the customer success and the product team is, and I feel that some companies does relationships really close. Of course, it's like a challenge, especially like I wouldn't say that because I'm working for the foreign company, and then usually like I don't say that my company, but maybe previous company, but development team is of course in the headquarters always, and then customer success, for the field team is in the all over the world. But so getting those relationship, of course there's good relationship, but some company that I heard that they're really like close. They kind of could be like a same. Some companies like a same like a organization for the so for the product. That's so that means like definitely like we'll say like a product out or market in. Therefore, to make the product like so definitely like driven by the customers like input or feedback, and then there are some companies, that's what I heard in there. That as well. And like I said, like for different organizations, so depends on the company. The customer success is in what organization they are in is actually showing some characteristic for the maybe the way they have in the customer success. Like for the some companies under the sales, and the customer success, and some company maybe same as customer support, and then some companies like under the product organization and the customer.
Okay. And so how the company categorizes customer success maybe shows their mindset about how they value it.
Yeah, and there's some company that there's a customer success on the top organization, and some US company, that's what I heard, and then under customer success, the many customer support, and then consultation, and whatever renewal sales. So yeah, getting see more and more for those type of the company.
Interesting. Also, actually, before we move on, we have a question from the audience on this subject. From Leo, what do you think are key must-have skills, knowledge, or mindset for people who are involved in customer success at a company? Any opinions on that, Jun?
sorry, who someone become the success?
Yeah, so for people who are involved in a customer success team or role, what are the key must-have skills, knowledge, or mindset?
All right. Basic mindset, of course. I mean, mindset like for customer obsession that of course usually like Amazon say, but for to definitely like think about customer success first. Customer success first. That's a important, but that's a fundamental. Yeah. Okay. I mean that's must have. But some of the skill that definitely need to have is definitely like based on the those customers first mind, but product domain skill and the product skill. Yeah, for and then professional skill and the communication skill. Those are the four must have skill for the customer success. Like center is of course customer first mind.
Sure.
Yeah, definitely. But there's for like a domain skill, which is the customers industry or field know more about customer, and domain skill, you have to be really good at your services or whatever you providing. And then two others is like a professional skill, of course, like pretty much the same as the others, like a business skill mind, and also communication skills. So because like so many communication between the customer and the customer success. So those are the more like
Okay, so that customer first mindset is on the top, and then under that, know your own value, know your customer, and kind of be able to explain that.
Right. Yeah.
Interesting.
Like
Okay, that is fascinating. All right, well, actually, if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to switch the topic to something a bit more light, maybe a bit more personal. I have been informed that you are studying 10 different languages.
Yeah.
My first question, can you explain why?
Hold on.
I'm sorry.
10 different languages you're studying?
Yeah, I would say yes. besides Japanese and English, of course. Like I don't.
Okay, so 12 languages.
Yeah, I don't study the Japanese, of course. I'm a native, and then English. Yeah, I don't spend much time on studying the English, but so I kind of besides them.
Wowzers.
Okay. First question, very simple. What are the languages?
Okay. Chinese, Korean, and Vietnamese. Those are, starting from the east side.
Okay.
From the Japan. Yeah.
Okay.
And then Russian, and then the Finnish, and then actually I was thinking for the geographical things.
Sure.
But, yeah, and the Arabic and the Hebrew, and then the German, French, and Spanish. Yeah.
Okay.
I don't say I can speak them, but I'm learning.
Wow.
In parallel, actually, this is fun. Yeah.
And so that's the biggest question I think I have. Why did you decide to learn all of them at the same time?
Right. That's a good question. Yeah. I mean, basically like I'm learning the Chinese before, but and learning, but I'm interested in learning the many languages, and then those 10 I thought, but simple idea, or maybe like kind of usually like people think like, okay, I'm gonna learn the second language, then start learning this one, and then probably maybe a couple years, maybe 2 years. Okay, 2 years you will be more comfortable for this language, and then start another one, right? So usually like people, usual mind. I mean, so if you want to like learn 10 languages, like a 10th language, okay, like a Hebrew is like a 10th one. You need to wait for like 18 years.
Okay.
You start the 10th one. Like, okay, is that something that? And then otherwise, not otherwise, but instead, let's say like start learning 10 languages in the same time, and the opportunity actually, so that you don't start, well, you don't turn the flag on my in your mind that okay, I'm starting learning, and then start actually learning, you can't see the many things, or you're gonna lose many tiny things without starting or without turning on your flag that start. Because like if I'm walking outside or whatever, when I see something that lie down in the like a Vietnamese or Hebrew or Arabic, that actually I will kind of catch my brain or my eye. It actually catch because I'm learning. That means I'm interested. I mean, changing my mind. So that I won't lose those like a really small opportunity to learn things, not only just on the word or like a news or many things. So something to, I believe, like remember, and also something to make you keep interesting is relate to the many things. So if I see some the word in certain situation, and then I can easily remember those things, with those context or background or how they feel. But yeah, so I thought okay, instead of like waiting for the 18 years, okay, let's start everything together so that I can get the most opportunity out of it.
That is fascinating.
Of course,
so,
like, it's gonna take time.
Right.
Yeah.
So which language has been the most surprising for whatever reason?
Yeah. Of course, yeah, Arabic and Hebrew is really surprising. Yeah, I still keep surprising. How,
why is that?
I mean, yeah, just actually the language itself, but maybe I would say I also like learning the kind of history of the of the language itself. So not only the grammar but also maybe history and a little bit interesting that too. So that to answer your question, maybe I would say maybe I guess like two. To Hebrew and Korean, I guess. Maybe popular, but that surprised me. This Korean is I guess I believe like only one language that we people currently use, but actually the how do you say, people actually made it on purpose. Yeah. So like, it was like a surprise. I mean, 5 years. I mean, 500 years, I guess. So people try to make the language like a Hangul. So that's interesting. And also Hebrew is also used to be, I think it's been, I would say like a dead language for 2000 years. And then someone called Ben Yefter, I guess he's in Israel. And then he thought they should start, I mean, that's a really like a important language that people has to use in the daily life, not only within the Bible or So the one person actually I guess I just say like a revive of the language or the and then now even one country Israel they now they use Hebrew in real life.
When was that revival? What year did he start this revival of Hebrew?
I think 1800. I don't know. Then I was actually reading that book actually for the history of it, but I forgot 1800 or something. Yeah.
Okay, so on average, it takes about 200 years to revive a dead language.
Okay. Yeah. I don't know how long it takes. Yeah. I think so. Yeah. It took.
Interesting.
But I guess while he was alive, of course, like still alive again. So yeah, it was like although like it's been I guess 2000 years that people don't use for in real life. I thought that's a fascinating and surprise and fascinating. And then even though like it looks like really difficult, I mean, I don't know how, but it was really interesting.
That's awesome. So for you, a big part of learning a language is also kind of the story of the language itself. then.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
That is
Yeah.
a really neat mindset.
Uh,
Okay, so on kind of a bigger scale, as someone who does have a lot of experience learning a lot of languages and probably overcoming a lot of hardships and challenges, what kind of advice would you give to people who want to study a new language?
Actually, the important things of the language is, I mean, keep doing it. Yeah, of course. Yeah, I mean, very important.
Yes.
I mean, it's not easy, and then it's you don't get the language like in a kind of really like a couple months or so, but it definitely like keep learning, and then it's gonna take a while. So stop learning. Yeah, that's and then of course like enjoy something out of it, and that makes it. Yeah. That's
Okay.
it.
Also, this is a super random question, but it's something that kind of shocked me in my process of picking up second languages. How many different languages have you had dreams in?
Oh, right. I think besides like of course Japanese and English,
Sure.
yeah, and then I think like 2 or 3.
Wow.
2.
Okay.
Yeah, I remember yeah. Yeah, but yeah, I know what you mean. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I still really clearly remember the first time I randomly started dreaming in Japanese, and it kind of shocked me.
Yeah. I remember
This is
that.
just something
Yeah.
I like to talk about with languages.
Right. I started, yeah. For the first one, the English one, I was in I guess the US the first time, and then after a couple months, and then I think I remember that I also was also shocked that
Yeah.
Finally, finally.
It's like a rite of passage. It's
yeah. Right. That's how I remember.
That is super interesting. Okay. By the way, since we only do have a few minutes left, I want to open it up to the audience as well. If any of you guys have any questions for Jun about anything we've talked about today, absolutely feel free to speak up in either the chat or the Q&A box, and we'll be happy to get to your questions as well. Dia, Reina, anything else from you guys on the topic of languages or going back to customer success? Anything at all?
I mean, I think Jun is the master of success. So he does customer success. He's successfully worked in many different kinds of companies, and you are also successfully growing yourself. And I think your advice about keep doing it, keep learning, I guess that applies not just to languages, but any skill in your life and in your career.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem.
Can you say that again? I was looking at the chat. The chat.
Okay. I was like writing in the chat.
Yes.
So the advice that you gave about language is keep doing it, keep learning. It might take a while, but just enjoy the process too. Do you think that applies to any other skill in your career and your work?
Right. Yeah. Yeah, I think so. The process, yeah, definitely. Yeah, I mean like for the language, like I say, like I keep doing that little by little, and then like and it makes a rhythm. That's actually that makes successful for other habit as well. That's for example, like a reading books, and then especially for let's say like a difficult books or reading club, or I'm doing the reading kind of club with my colleague, and one is an engineer and one is for the customer success team. So for using the lunchtime to read one particular book together, like 45 minutes in the silent read and 15 minutes to talk about it. And then actually I'm doing with my wife too every Sunday.
So I know you for many years, and you have so much energy, Jun. But where does that energy come from? Because I'm so tired all the time. I don't want to read a book, but where do you get your energy?
I don't know. Maybe I do the exercise and then.
Oh no, I don't want to do exercise.
No, but I don't know. I just I keep thinking that myself as I know nothing. I still don't know the nothing, and then keep learning from the others, my colleague and even my team member knows many things about me and about anything and many things, and then I thought, oh wow, that's today I learned many things, and
okay, so it's
from my wife, and
it's that feeling of having learned something new that kind of keeps you going.
Yeah,
and then very nice.
And then maybe admit or things that many things that you don't know that I don't know. That's things that myself.
Admit what you don't know. I like that.
Good point.
That's a good one.
And we do have a question. How do you keep yourself motivated how do you keep yourself motivated to continue studying or trying new things every day for such a long time? I guess it's a similar kind of question in terms of, so you are kind of just assuming it's mindset, really, assuming that you don't really know everything. So you're always kind of curious for more information.
And enjoy a tiny progress, even though for the language, it's kind of funny that I say 10 languages, right? And I have 10 books on my desk, and in 10 books in the pile of the 10 books, and every morning do the 2 language, reading the grammar books, and doing for the Duolingo for that language, little. I mean, max is 30 minutes, or maybe less than 10 minutes, and then so 2 languages a weekday, and then 10 languages for the weekday, and then weekend a little bit whatever that you want to learn. So I guess there's a little tiny thing, small progress.
1% every day is still a lot in a year.
That's really good.
Okay, and Momoko has also given us a question. Thank you so much, Koremura-san, for sharing an inspirational story. My question is, what was the toughest objection from a client or challenge that you have experienced in your customer success life? An objection, opposition, conflict, maybe? Good question.
Yeah. I don't know. The toughest conflict is some of the customers don't know why they buy. I mean, there is some customer actually. I mean, probably the person who made the decision is maybe they know, or they have some a little bit kind of broad idea, but not many actually people who facing with that we face is don't know the why and then the value, and then definitely that's a difficult challenge, but also definitely the must challenge for the customer success to make themselves realize that the value of what actually what we bring to them to relate to the success for their objection. Probably it's not easy for them to. Maybe they might change their behavior of some traditional way of the doing for their business. So maybe change management is also I think the good very big component of the customer success.
Interesting.
That is very interesting indeed. Okay. And then one last question we had that came in through Q&A. Has the fact that you speak or have learned several languages helped you in real life? And if yes, how?
Yeah. Actually, definitely, I would say first, maybe 2 things, maybe, this is maybe not many language, but English is, of course, helping my career. So that's a kind of more basic one. But I guess second language I start learning actually is Chinese before. And then I used to work with, not kind company, but, a couple company before, but I often, we have the China office in the R&D, and definitely, like, when I visited those, development center, and then, of course, common language is English, but once they know that I could speak some Chinese, and so like a distance between for them for me, it really makes it really different. And also, when I went outside by myself, and then I could easily to become someone, the stranger that the market, and I kind of drug together.
So even if your level in a new language is maybe not very advanced, just trying a little bit kind of gets your foot in that door for better communication.
Right. Definitely,
That
it was really fun. Yeah, I used that one instead of German too. Yeah.
Excellent. All right. Well, that leads us to be just about out of time for today. Jun, thank you so much for being our guest. I have certainly learned a lot about things I have never really thought about before. This was fascinating.
Thank you so much.
And of course, thank you to all of our audience for joining in today. And thank you for some excellent questions. We do hope to see all of you back again soon for another one of our webinars. Please do stay posted for new announcements from Sparkdojo. Otherwise, thank you again to everyone, our guests, our panelists, and all of you out there. We hope to see everyone again soon. Please have a very good afternoon and a very good weekend.
Thank you. Thank you all. Bye.
Thank you so much.
Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone.